Okay. Well, let's get the show on the road then. In the last session, the last couple sessions, you all were winding out your expedition of the infested city of Etitum, aiding several of the circles of balance, several of the druids of the Circle of Balance, in making the city hospitable for the living again. You met up with a crew known as Akerland's Guard. Esha, its de facto leader, asked if you'd be willing to help him find a missing treasure that he was looking for. This treasure of his was information on how beings known as reborn, such as the Doctor, were created by an individual known as Kreela. Upon finding these documents and some more stuff, you all did battle with Kreela as she had returned as an undead herself due to the toll. Defeating her minions and chasing her through the streets of Etitum, all while the Godking Baras of the Shattered Necropolis was picking up some slack he had left. You interrupted Kreela's escape with an expertly placed explosive arrow on Weaver's part, and Baras handled the rest, abducting her and dragging her into the shadows. Yes, I know, I will take my meds in like 10 minutes. Meanwhile, within the crypt, your wounded confronted Everest, or at least the other half of Everest, an entity known as Lydiana that has been living in Everest's consciousness for a short amount of time, came out to play and was very keen on stealing Eustace, the wizard of Akerland's Guard's spellbook. When he refused, things became a little violent, but you were able to dissuade this entity within Everest's mind and get Everest control back. You all met down there, and upon tensions rising to a peak, you all didn't notice that the God King had followed you in to this crypt and witnessed at least a little bit of your conversations before intervening. With this, Godking Baras will ask each and every one of you to hold off on your confrontation for the time being, as he has a lot to do. And first on his docket, since it's so convenient that all of you are in one place, is to get whatever information he can from the party who brought him this, the Philosopher's Stone. I almost just called it the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry Potter, that might get me in trouble. That's a book title.
Philosopher's over here, so it still gets you in trouble.
Yeah, well, so either way.
I think it's a public domain. I think you get
Probably. Otherwise,
if you use the full title, then you're in trouble.
Yes, Harry Potter is public domain. It's fine.
But upon him calling on you, he, along with several members of the Circle of Balance who were following their God King into battle just a little slower than he was, considering he propels himself through the city on strands of hair, vast and wide. Eventually, you all return up to the Arche Chipuru, I believe, this castle on top of the city. There, you are all given a waiting room where you can tend to your wounds. The druids will help tend to your wounds before you meet with the God King one-on-one, each of you, for whatever information he deems is necessary. So, you all have a bit of time to yourselves. I'll say the druids heal you to full HP with their capabilities. You can now get your full 13 HP Uh, Hazel.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Thank you for my full 13 hit points.
Yes. Anything's better than nothing.
Yeah.
As you are one of their own, they kind of take priority of you first. Like, oh shit, buddy's looking bad.
Buddy looking real bad.
But you all have a moment now. The tenseness from the previous confrontation still sort of weighing on you. But if there's anything you all would like to say to one another before you are called away to your meeting with the God King, now's the time. I'll say for the purposes of this, Everest is pouting and does not want to talk to anybody.
So fair. The doctor has 2 dockets on their table.
Hmm.
One giving a item unceremoniously to Weaver with a very curt thank you, with no other explanation. Weaver, you're going to get the last of the boosting powder that I have.
Okay.
I'll send you what the effect is.
Good.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
good boosting powder.
Boosting powder. What was the fucking Pacific Rim? The scene where they're in like the kaiju black market.
Mm-hmm.
Kaiju bone powder. No. Anyway, we're not with the kaiju yet. All right,
And
Doc.
if Weaver doesn't stop to talk, continuing on the docket list.
Thank you. What is it?
Oh, a bit of medicine that will, well, help you out when you're, I don't know, trying to stab things with your boots.
All right, I will not
With
say
anything,
no.
really.
Yeah. Always love stabbing things with my boots.
They are a little dull at this point, I will say.
I'll just sharpen my boots. So dumb.
It's amazing,
then,
though.
and then continuing on to the docket, going up to Hujan, handing them also a vial with a curt thank you. You, my friend, are getting stun dust.
Got it for. Thank you.
Well, going after Krita with me and, well, ensuring that not everyone died. Rather hate to have more undead on hands, so.
More.
It's good faith or something.
Okay. Pocket it.
And then Doctor will go about and help heal things.
Very fair. You'll tend to your wounds. I will also, as a point of order, note that Akryl's guard was also summoned by Baras for questioning. He had a particular interest in
Oh,
Esha and
joy.
those papers that he was holding on to.
And then I read in full.
That you read in full. Which, yeah, you do have that information on you. But they were brought to a different chamber. They're not with you at the moment. They have their own set of questions. But is there anything anybody else wants to do?
Is sending me the details. Why is on? Because the person he wants to talk to is Everest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're wanting Bars is wanting to chat with them who dealt with this Philosopher's Stone thing, right? That was explicitly stated out loud.
He's talking to the people with the Philosopher's Stone, but because all of you were in a crypt that he had no idea about, he also wants to recount what happened individually between all of you.
Okay.
Besides, you're a member of his circle. He has a few words to speak with you about personally.
Until he talks to me, I'm just gonna wild shape into a cat and just curl up.
Fair enough. Fair
And
enough.
use my last wild shape until we short rest.
Weaver
Just
has
turns
that
back into the
moment.
orange tabby.
Weaver has that moment of going to speak to Hazel and going, "That's a cat." Okay, hold on. I'm going to the doctor instead.
If he sees you coming towards you, you will hear in your head Hazel's voice. Did you need something?
Oh, that's really strange. Yes.
Just
Just
pat over.
have you spoken to him before?
I spoke to Baras once, right? Very little.
What should
I'm
I
sort of-
expect? This is very new to me and very weird.
Lovely DM, since we didn't actually RP out a conversation with Baras. What would I know?
What you recall from your conversation with Baras was, because it was sort of in the heat of the toll, for one reason or another, Baras didn't seem horribly bothered by the events going on, even though it was fairly important. He sort of seemed distracted, at the very least. But otherwise, he seemed very stoic, very stern, and just kind of aloof from what you remember.
Okay, so about what I expected. So Hazel will just sort of like curl up and look up and just go, sort of, what I dealt with was very aloof, very distracted, sort of, nonplussed by things. I think as long as you're honest about what he cares about, he doesn't really care about the rest.
Right. Okay. I guess that would make sense. God. It's like clearly uncomfortable under the presence of Godking power.
Yeah. I'm not used to it either. I've only talked to the man once, and, I'm fairly new to this whole thing anyways, so.
All right. Well, thank you for the tip, I guess. Yes. It's just like, how do I end conversation with head cat? Do I just stop thinking now, or
Oh no, you're talking out
are
loud.
you...
I'm just replying in your head.
He says that out loud.
Yeah.
Do I
You
just stop thinking now? Are you connected
I can-
somehow? Do I like?
No, I just can talk in your head. I just have that ability.
Oh, okay.
As long as I can see you, I can.
That's. Yep. And he'll just just wander off.
So everyone in the party has just been watching Weaver talk to this cat, and nothing is on the other end but a stare.
Had any interaction with Baras?
No.
Would I about him?
Agrisha never really spoke to you about Baras. He mentioned other god kings. Your main focus, I'd say, if talking to other god kings, was on Varus, the other one. Varus. But from what little Agrisha has mentioned of Baras, very stoic, very stern and focused. So basically, not at all what Hazel has told Weaver.
Well,
Very
if,
brass tacks down to business.
if we
Serious.
have heard the Weaver side of this conversation,
Yeah.
we'll probably just be like, never spoken to a God King before.
That moment where Weaver takes a bit of a sigh before turning and looking at Hujan. No, I haven't experienced this before. Yeah, a lot of pressure. Not just the whole "there's a God King here" vibe either.
Well, from what I have, Baris doesn't really take a lot of shit. Very much gets his.
Right, direct. I can respect that, especially from someone who could probably snap any one of us like a twig.
Kind of nods. Wouldn't be tense about it. Feel like you might come to realize talking so different, talking to others. There's just a understanding.
Not a great way to feel, but understandable.
I'll say when he says lesser, does that? There's kind of a look in his eye that's almost like saying,
Okay.
I will say, when you say lesser, you just hear a fucking chuckle from Doctor across the room.
glances at you. There's a look of interest. Doesn't say anything.
You just gotta get a big old, good old stretch from Hazel. Good old cat stretch.
Yeah, I was just saying, well, thank you for the tip, I guess, while he continues to clean blood and everything off of him from the, 2 days of crypt traveling?
Mhm.
It's been almost an entire day. You guys are pretty
Oh.
exhausted, if not the exertion, then just the amount of time.
He is very much cleaning and redoing makeup.
Well, as you all settle, eventually the doors open, and one by one, members of the Circle of Balance come to collect you all individually. Starting with the doctor. You are brought from the antechamber down the long, familiar corridor. Large pillars of stone, cracked and ancient, a low green magical flame on each of them that dimly lights the room. As at the end of it, you see the large throne, the familiar sense that you remember when you first came into this room. As at the far end, sitting in a far less relaxed pose from the first time you saw him, leaned forward, bright glowing eyes, the mask removed to reveal his face proper to you. Baras, this aged old man who's seen far more than most people in this world ever have. So he's leaning forward.
Oh, Boris. My
Doctor,
very compatriot. Oh, no, see.
it has been some time, Doctor. How are you faring?
Well, seeing my maker was certainly feather ruffling.
Understandable. It is of great bother to me as well, given that I was certain her body was left outside of the city. To find a tomb where she was supposedly laid is of great concern. So,
It's rather concerning, isn't it?
I would like to ask you before delving into serious business. In your time away from Vitirum, in your time with the clergy, how have you fared in helping the people of Necros, your mission that I gave to you?
Well, I hope it's doing well. I hope most all that I can. Don't know if they like it or wanted it. People certainly got tired of me really quickly.
And how do you feel about them, the living that you help?
Well, bit ungrateful at times. But overall, fellow citizens.
There.
Not really any strong feelings, really.
Understandable. Given your general nature from what I perceive, that is not necessarily a bad thing. What remains important is the work you do, and if it is of use to them, whether they like it or not, then
Well,
that is
they
fine.
probably don't know what I am, so.
On that note, these people you travel with, have they found anything out in these exploits?
To an extent, yes.
Be very keen on that. If they are aware, it is important that they do not let certain people know.
I believe the only one that they let know was me.
And that is good. Now, on to proper business.
Of course.
Your creator, he says with sort of a snarl. I apprehended her when you thwarted her escape, and she is still in our custody. I have a great many questions for that demon, and I imagine you do as well.
What I want out of her, I don't think either of us will see in the near future. Especially if you want answers. Because what I want kind of thwarts that.
Our demise will come in time.
Oh, I'm well aware.
If it
I
is...
just hope I'm there to see it.
If that can be arranged, I will let you know.
Appreciate it.
I am certain that other reborn would also agree. It seems so far the 2 or 3 of you I have found do not particularly have fond feelings for this Krila. But it
No,
is a
any of us would.
Mm.
She was essentially an enslaver.
That is the case with most necromancers.
Yes, but we had thought.
Second, I need to get a change of music. But as he tells you this, it's like, and in time, you will see her demise come. Whether by your hands or mine, does not matter. And death will not be tolerated so long as it is useless to us.
That is
While there is
perfectly
use to her.
fine. All I ask is a trophy.
That can be arranged.
Oh, your graciousness is exuberable. And a mock bow.
He groans and turns to some of the members of the circle that are in attendance. Looks to them for a moment, looks to you. Leave us. As they sort of look to him. I'm going to get the next music cued. As they sort of look, as he nods, they take their leave of the room. So I'm going to skip over. So, oh, is that to turn off the loop?
Here you go, turn off the loop.
Okay, which is that button? The X? I imagine it's the X. I'm gonna hit the X anyway.
Now you gotta play it again.
Okay. That's okay.
It happens.
New bot, gonna have to figure it out. That's wrong. Maybe now it'll let
I
me
think you
skip
hit
it.
the same button to unloop it as.
Okay.
Yeah, you do, the little circle
Unloop
thingy.
it. Okay.
And then you have to go off.
Okay. Loop. Ah, it has drop downs. That's
Yeah.
different.
It's
Okay.
a little different. Hey, at least it works.
Okay.
Now you can skip it and do whatever.
Is it the right one though?
No. Try again.
No. Okay, that's a different one. I didn't get the link down. That's probably what's wrong. I thought I had it. It's not.
Got this.
Gonna get there eventually.
Technical difficulties, technical difficulties,
What do
technical
you-
difficulties.
Yeah.
That's my favorite song.
I'm so glad.
I don't know where dog is coming from, by the way. I've noticed that I've been saying it so much recently. I'm like, what happened?
Too much
Feels
of
like an
watching
olive.
Dog the Bounty Hunter.
It feels like an olive mannerism that rubbed off on you.
Maybe. I mean, like, we've
'Cause I know they say it a
definitely-
lot.
Yeah, we've definitely rubbed off a lot on each other. Because it's like, you know, parent child that happens, but
Yeah. Anyway.
a dog? Yeah, that's definitely an Olive thing. I'm gonna message her.
I like them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Olive is great. I'm
Olive
gonna
is
message
great.
Olive and say fuck off.
But as the members of the circle, these other druids, bow and take his heed, the doors close behind them. Doctor, there is a matter of great importance that I wish to share with you, and you alone.
Right.
You have particular interest in this, I am sure. If it was not apparent, my business in dealing with the toll of death has been lacking. This is not of my own doing.
Interesting.
In the month maybe weeks, I do not remember, leading up to the toll, I found my mind imprisoned, trapped within itself. Some powerful charm, enchantment was placed upon me.
That is not good.
No. Given the coincidence with this toll of death, I know only a very few powerful enough, willing and able to turn on me.
Right.
But I lack evidence. In your servitude to the waking lords, you acted as reconnaissance, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
I would call upon those skills that you have to investigate for me.
What would you like me to investigate?
Amongst the papers you have collected with your undying kin, it was revealed to me that there are caches, hidden tombs throughout the lone. Thanks. Throughout the
Here, I
lone
got you.
continent. Appreciate it. I always got you guys. Thanks for having my back. We'll just do that.
Yeah, Mr. Gordon,
again.
we're gonna make an acapella box band.
You can do that. I did scat singing for way too long.
Nice.
But I found the paper within the papers. It was revealed there were tombs set by the waking lords as warehouses, stocks, safe houses for themselves and others allied with them. I would have you investigate several of these locations in case one of the waking lords has escaped their judgment.
Right.
Any evidence you find, you are to report to me. You watch as he reaches in to his heavy coat and throws you a sending stone.
Clasp into jacket pocket.
Okay.
I will add one sending stone to my inventory.
It is a direct line to Baras to be used upon investigation, not recreational. Specified. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Baras, how you doing?
Hey, hello. Do you are you pooping?
Are you? Yeah.
Is it
Are you
working?
pooping?
Are you pooping?
God damn it. Only it's with the bot being this way.
It's because you're trying to be dramatic. That's why.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
whatever. We'll get there later. But, however, this is only one avenue I believe you can follow. Otherwise, I would like you to travel to one of 3 kingdoms and investigate there. For if the waking lords are not in play, then I fear there might be a traitor among the Godkings.
Right.
One, and my most likely guess, is God King Dregger in the kingdom of Pesco, our neighboring kingdom to the south. The other would be the kingdom of Ban. No, not Ban. Natu, the one above it. Just past the Basrani Desert to the south, neighboring Pesco. And even further south, the kingdom of Tents and God King Kikimora. If you were to make it to any of those capitals, remain obscure. Do not let yourself be found that you are an acolyte of mine.
But of course.
If it is a waking lord, it is something I have dealt with, and we can deal with again, and ensure that that chapter in this world's history is closed. If it is a god king who has turned on me, I fear a great, terrible new chapter may be awaiting the Lone Continent.
Frankly, if I may. If it is the Godkings trying to fight amongst themselves, I believe that, perhaps a reality check might be in order for some.
What do you propose?
If they are trying to fight amongst equal standing, well, there must be a reason, no? Perhaps to gain more power, or more land, or what have you. And if they were not physically, directly going for you, when I know you're not very sociable, that only spells disaster.
It does.
So, if we happen to find out that they're trying to weed out people they determine to be unuseful to their plans, I believe some judgment is in order.
You would see yourself dish out this judgment.
I never said myself, but if they're doing it, they deserve it. Just my thoughts. If I could dish out some kind of judgment towards Godkings, I don't think we'd be having this conversation.
I understand what you mean and where you are coming from. Unfortunately, if I were to confront a God King on this personally, it risks escalating situations. There is a pact between all 16 of us. None are to turn on each other, lest we risk balance be lost. Lest we risk balance being lost, yeah.
And
I
yet,
will.
and yet you theorize that maybe one has already done so.
That is why we operate in secret.
Of
And
course, of
find
course.
evidence.
I'm just saying, if it turns out to be true, harsh measures need to be taken.
And that will be decided by the Godkings.
I doubt you'd see it any other way.
This is your mission. Report your findings to me. And if you continue to travel with these individuals you have found yourself with, do so with caution.
Of course. Though I do find fascination with our dear Hazel, one of your little druids. He's new, isn't he?
My memory is still hazy from my enchantment, but I do recall the young one. He has been inducted recently, yes.
Well, out of those that I currently travel with, he's the one that I find highest in standing.
That is good. He is a member of the Circle, and if he cannot be trusted, I doubt he would be.
Of course. And if he's not trusted, well, we'll deal with that when the time comes.
Indeed. That I can leave to you.
Why, thank you. On my way out, shall I give order for your other druids to come back in for you? Save all the breath.
Nods. Safe travels, Doctor. There are
Good luck
darker
with the
times
undead
ahead.
problem.
I look forward to it. He sort of reaches back and caresses the scythe behind his throne. As you're seen out. I'm not trying to fix the fucking music.
Can't
Now it
wait to
took a little
execute
while.
Hazel.
The fuck?
Hey man, you're the newbie. You're the greenhorn. Nobody knows what your deal is yet.
The thing is, the doctor really likes Hazel. However, they would also really enjoy it if you happen to also be a de facto.
Well, hey, well,
They are a morally gray character, okay?
I'm just sitting here being a cute little cat. Leave me alone.
You're doing that with the wrong party. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
That's not my fault.
Wow.
Maybe you guys gotta
Wow.
stop being a bunch of assholes.
Wow.
Hey, the doctor
I've
isn't
been okay
an
with
asshole.
Hazel.
The doctor isn't an asshole. They're an ass hat. Thank you very much.
Uses a whole ass.
Correct.
All right.
So I bet that boy
Yeah.
caked up.
Yeah, the
Nah,
doctor will
that
be
boy, the
sending
shape
the
of a
druids.
TF2 character. Anyway, no.
So the ideal human figure is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Fox.
TF2, Jake, did you see what I posted in the boys?
Get in here.
Oh, nice. Dude, we already knew they put Jeremy. They literally named the scout Jeremy. And it's pretty much been confirmed that they named him Jeremy because of Jerma. So
I just found it funny.
that's hilarious, though. Right? Last scene in a meat grind. I took meat grinders, and the only thing that comes out is your eye. You're probably dead.
Anyway, to move along. Next step on the docket. Hujan. You are summoned into the throne chamber of Baras. As you step through, you see the pillars, and within the shadows, you see the hair coiling around them, sitting on the throne. Baras. Rise, Seeker.
Added 10.
I do not believe I am familiar with you. State your name and your rank.
My rank.
I believe you're
The captain,
It's-
aren't
I believe so. No, it's Captain something and then General. You're in between Captain and. Or are you a Captain? I don't remember. Hold up.
I have 2 swords.
Yeah, you're essentially mid rank in the military, but I just gotta remember where it is. You say you're just 2 swords. You're 2 sword rank. Well, I get
Commander.
that. He'll get that.
There's
Commander.
Commander General.
Okay, it's commander. Captains are trainers. Like they do the training and whatnot. But
He'll again salute
Mhm.
part of his pronunciation or announcement and another huge breath visions or dropping.
Right. Commander. What brings you to my kingdom?
They're the effect that the toll has had on everyone. I was sent here with a small platoon and help with the rest for that your kingdom thrown into more chaos than it already is.
And these are Grisha's orders. And what of my ally and his kingdom? Where do they stand after the toll?
Say that we're better off than anyone else, or a bit more fortified, so that gives us an advantage. But General is common
You're-
fine.
Kamen's fine. It was one of the kingdoms to get out better from the toll than most, given its nature and its position.
We fared more than more. Fared better than why we fared to.
This is good to hear. I can always rely on my ally, my battle brother.
Interest flared, doesn't say anything.
Yeah. Now then, to more important and more recent matters. I would like your full account of what is happening within the city of Deadstone. More importantly, apparently, what lies beneath. At this point, I would like you to just, if you can, generalize what information you would like to tell Baras about y'all's expedition below Deadstone.
Primarily below? Do you want stuff in Deadstone as well?
Yeah, like the general state of Deadstone and your expedition, your mission as given to you by the Druids.
He'd probably just kind of summarize the state of Deadstone.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So rough.
yeah, Deadstone's not doing too hot. But also talk about where and how they got the stone.
Right.
Give details on that at least. And in terms of what we encountered below, just give a detailed account of essentially what happened, like from his
Involving.
perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's like, I don't know what details he wants or doesn't want. Minor
Yeah.
details that others might not see as important, he might find very important. He's just going to give a detailed personal account of their entire expedition.
Fair enough. Upon you completing this, he nods, doesn't say a word through your explanation. You see, you have my thanks, Seeker, for your service to my kingdom, and for this information, which has proved most valuable to me. I will reach out to Agrisha, as I believe there is much we can discuss together on the fortification of both Necros and other kingdoms across the long continent. Now that Vititum is secured, I will see to it that my lands are rid of this, and my armies are risen to their full strength as soon as possible. You look like you have something. Continue.
Yeah, one other thing I was gonna say that I just remembered.
Mhm.
He would absolutely bring up the kobolds who were tunneling, saying,
Mhm.
"This is a thing that the Godkings agreed on. We're creating easier travel for people. 100%. Like, this is what they told me, fuckers."
Mhm.
So
Yeah, no, 100%. Takes that into account. Does not bring it up again. Like, very well. Well then, Commander Hujan Tokrath, I thank you for your report. I believe you are to be traveling back to Deadstone. If this is the case, depending on what me and Agrisha speak upon, I might have use of you yet. I will send missives, or you will receive word from your higher-ups. Until then, be on your guard, Seeker. Take your leave. As the hair pushes the door open, and you are permitted to leave.
walk out as he's leaving. This almost like just grin comes on his face. Like he's just like fucking.
Fair enough. I will
he
sit.
just comes out with this like I want to say insidious looking grin on his face.
Oh.
Mhm. Fair enough. As you all see Hujan return to the antechamber, the next person to be called is Everest. She will go in, but because Wynter is currently on a hiatus, you do not see Everest return to the antechamber.
She is hair assimilated.
Otherwise, next up is Hazil.
Stretch, unshift, walk in.
Fair, fair.
Still
You
so fucking strange.
you enter the throne room, having only been here once before, not too long ago, even during your coronation into the circle. There before you, yet again, Godking Baras, in a far different state from when you saw him. Whereas before he was sort of lax and just looking out upon the throne room. As soon as you enter, the eyes immediately meet with yours. This intense presence and stare. Not while it is intimidating because it's a God King, not harsh, just enveloping. Let me double check my notes real quick.
There's like a slight little head nod and then just stands there.
You are Hazel, correct?
Yes.
I apologize. Things were hectic upon your arrival.
Yes. I certainly wasn't expecting this when I arrived.
Hmm. One often does not know how to expect the tolls, or how to approach a God King when they are summoned, or brought before one. Rest assured, however, you are a member of my circle, and are in trusted halls. Breathe easy.
I
Introductions were short, and I find myself in need of a refresher. Hazil, from what kingdom do you hail? You are not Necrosian. I
no,
can smell it on you.
I'm from it's Azera, right? Or Tens?
Ozeril.
Ozero. Ozero? Underhill.
I have not been. I hardly leave the borders of my kingdom, as most Godkings do. Highness is my only connection to that land. It's Godking.
Yes.
She is fair and kind. From what
Yes,
I
she is.
understand, it's prospering there, or at least was until the toll.
I don't know what happened since the toll. But my land was not prospering, and that is why I'm here.
Correct. Your mentor. Yes, child abduction. Fun. The notification.
Yeah.
11 minutes go off. Sorry. Saying that really. Not fun, but the interruption was.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Anyway, yeah, cut that out. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. Where were we?
Your mentor.
Yeah, your mentor. Who was it again? Who trained you?
It's great. Hang on. Vorath.
Wrath, yes. I remember after the Necro War, not too many years ago, I sent him on a mission to double check the lands of the Lone Continent. It seems in that time he has found you, and a predicament, I hear.
Yes.
Please inform me of the situation.
Sorry, I'm just reading some stuff to make sure. Yeah. There was a rumor going around, and when the people of my town began to go and investigate, it didn't go well. Something took hold of our town. No one is dying.
He leans forward at this. How do you mean?
We had folk that were on their deathbed, and they are still on their deathbed now. Folk who were mere hours from death.
They remain suffering at the edge.
Yes. The
Is
old
it-
are still aging, but no one is passing.
This is of great concern.
That is why I came here, because I could leave, and because I was promised answers.
Well, answers will come with time. The lack of aging is a phenomenon new to even me, and I have lived a very long time. Everything ages and withers and dies, so that new things can be born. This halt in that progression is nothing I've encountered before. Is there any other information that you can give to me?
There was, the rumor that started this was that there was a creature living in the Heartwood. It had lined itself with the witches. It was people called it a lion, but I don't think a lion could do this.
Watch as he
Mm.
closes his eyes.
None were allowed to go into the forest after that.
By witches, I assume you mean hags.
I believe so, yes.
Hmm. This matter is greatly disturbing. It would seem that if hags are to blame for this curse upon your home, that they might have formed a coven. The few Fae that remain on the Long Continent had stayed, kept to the shadows, both seelie and unseelie, not wishing to be disturbed. If the hags are unseelie, then the nefarious deeds could have gone for who knows how long. Unfortunately, Hazel, there is not much I can do at the moment to aid you in this, except send word to Highness and see that this information is passed along directly to your Godking. But the Heartwood, as I understand it, is split. If this vast forest is where the curse stems from, it would be between both O0 and Tenths to see the issue resolved. And that, I'm afraid, is highly unlikely, as God King Highness and Kikimora are not in the greatest of terms. But I will see what I can do to propose some meeting, though many of the kingdoms still reel from the effects of the toll. I believe we have things handled in Necros. Now with me helming the recovery of the kingdom directly, I do not believe it will be much longer that it has to deal with this remaining undead threat. If you would wish, you are permitted to return to your homeland to see this curse removed. We will provide aid where we can. As soon as I am able to relieve other members of the Circle, they will be at your beck and call.
I would appreciate that very much. We do not know exactly how long this curse was actually a hold, as Underhill's people are gnomes, their lifespans are long.
I see.
I'm a bit of an anomaly there.
It would seem you are a bit of an anomaly in general. Not many outsiders come to the Circle of Balance. But in these days, where curses run rampant and the dead rise again, maybe a unique anomaly such as yourself is exactly what we need.
Orath seemed to think so.
He is a wise man. May not as wise as me, but wise nonetheless. Well, aside from this, what is your take on the situation you found yourself in within Vizitum? These people you found yourself allied with in this venture. What do you make of them?
The fact that they are together seems like me an anomaly, but they somehow seem to make it work. It seems as long as their alignments are similar, they will find ways around what they need to. They are very capable fighters. Unafraid of doing what they need to. Making the tough calls.
These individuals, if I were to send them with you, or you were to bring them along, do you think it would be of benefit to your cause?
I think it's up to them, but I think anyone would be a benefit to the cause, especially if I'm to go into the Heartwood.
The one known as the Doctor is an ally of mine. I have known them a great long time. They have business in the south. You and them shall travel together. I will inform them of your situation, or you are free to do so yourself.
Something tells me it will interest them greatly.
Much does. Then, the two of you can investigate together.
I appreciate your aid in whatever way you're willing to give it.
With this, I have nothing more to ask you, Hazel. You are free to go.
Thank you very much. Just quietly step out.
As you return, next would be Octavia. After going and coming back, lastly, Weaver. As if the nerves weren't to you already, being the last of your group to get to see the God King maybe just adds on a little bit. But stepping before Baras in his throne room, there is a weird mix. The information that Hujan gave you, the information that Hazil gave you, both seem to line up in a way where, as you enter, there's a gaze upon you, an astuteness, a sternness to it. But it's almost as if he's looking through you.
Okay.
More focused on other things, but aware of your presence.
Well, Weaver will enter and just drop to one knee, doing the most over-extravagant bow possible. It's like, your Highness?
Rise.
Awkwardly gets back up.
May I have your name, stranger?
Yes, I go by Weaver.
You go by Weaver. Is that your name or a moniker?
It's been my name for as long as I can remember. Doesn't sound like one, but it is my name, I guess.
Fair. You found yourself in quite the situation, Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a traveling sellsword?
Yes, actually. That would pretty much describe me pretty well.
Where do you hail from?
That I don't really know. I traveled a lot as a child with my family, and kind of lost touch with them over the years, so I don't actually really know where I hail from. Spent most of my time in Necros.
Hmm. Nomadic. You do not smell of necros, but as a nomad, that is not of an unusual sort. There are many that wander these lands, going from place to place without a set home.
Good way to see the world.
There is much to see. I will not pester you with many questions, but I would like your accounts of what took place beneath my city, within its hidden halls. Yes, you are free to give whatever
Right.
details of your
Oh.
exploits through Vitidum.
I would explain the monstrosities I've seen, basically. And apologize for blowing up something, as well as firing a second dynamite at
Yeah.
Kreela.
Yeah, he
But beneficial at the time. Beneficial at the time is what I'll stress.
yeah. He notes it, gives a nod. I understand the need. There has been much damage. Vitidum has stood the test of time for millennia. It can continue to do so.
Good.
Well, let me double check. Questions? I think the track is just ending. Anyway. Right. That's what having the rep. Right. The Philosopher's Stone you retrieved for me from Deadstone. What would you tell me of your accounts from there? Again, you don't have to go into detail, but any specific notes that you would like to point
I
out to him?
would describe Lionel and the unrest he was causing in Deadstone, and getting the mission from the Druids, heading there, finding people transmuted, and I think that's about it. I'd probably give those details out.
Mm-hmm. He nods. I would ask you a question. Your answer does not impact the outcome. Though, I do seek the perspective of someone who has seen much of the world. The use of this Philosopher's Stone to transmute flesh to material. Would you think it a worthy sacrifice in rebuilding my kingdom? In rebuilding Deadstone?
Considering how much decay and rot I've seen in Necros, it's not a terrible idea. It's unethical, of course, but it could have some very good practical benefits, at least if you're using dead flesh, not living flesh.
I see. You would seek a way around the stone's intended use, but not change its nature.
Well, I don't really understand the stone at all. I didn't really hear of it beforehand, and then when we found it, we just found it could turn people into things, so if you could get it back to turning things into things instead of people into things, go for it, but otherwise, that's the workaround.
I see. Very well. I appreciate your cooperation.
I appreciate
you.
your help in that crypt.
It is only my duty. Well, I believe that is all I have to ask of you. You are free to go.
May I ask you a question, Godking Baras?
Cocks his head a little bit and leans forward. Sort of now, the eyes that have constantly kind of been looking through you, taking in your information, now narrow as you have his full attention. And what would you ask the wise Godking Baras?
I've heard nothing but vicious rumors in the streets about your absence during the toll. Don't need to tell me the reason, but was there at least a good reason for your absence?
I can tell you that if I were able to, in the time of the toll's coming, I would have done everything in my power to destroy every undead that walked these lands with my own hands.
All right, I'm very happy with that answer.
I understand that my people must question me, but in time I hope I can make it up to them. You are dismissed.
Polite bow and walk out the room.
Okay. Un momento.
There's a few sighs of relief
I'll be right back.
on the way out.
Yes. I'm going to wrap it up now. But as each of you. Tortilla. Duh. As you.
Fuck you. Your fault.
I didn't say anything,
Yeah,
dog.
but if I wouldn't
Anyway.
have said it, you would have. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. As your individual meetings with Godking Baras before you, Doctor, you were made aware of, I imagine, Hazel's situation.
Oh, I'll do the full backstory talk like in character with with the doctor.
We'll do that. Again, everyone has sort of returned to the chamber, and eventually you are escorted back out into the surface city of Vitium in order to discuss what happens next and where you all go from here. But with that, that is what we'll call the session.
Easy.